Okay, Mark Cuban, the man with so many things, he needs no introduction.
Okay.
Mark, you're trying to buy back broadcast.com, the domain?
No. We're trying to get the domain back just because I've always been trying to get it back. And we're just trying to work out a deal with Tim Armstrong. I think we'll get something done. Because you
think look, you did fine with the idea, but you want to go work on the idea again, I assume.
Well, it's something totally different. I don't want to get back into streaming again. There's a lot of big players. That's a whole different world now.
Okay, well, let's talk about the comment that you made on CNBC the other day, which you said that television is the best viewing experience for sports, and the leagues failed miserably in not communicating that value.
I've got Dish in my apartment in Miami. I'd rather watch a Mavs game on my 65-inch television stream that's delivered via satellite through a set-top box right there with no latency, so that if I want to text with somebody else who's watching the game, if I want to post on Twitter or Facebook or whatever, where all the people who are watching it get it at the same time. No buffering, great picture quality. That doesn't happen with streaming. And I brought it up to the NBA commissioner, we've brought it up to the NFL commissioner, and everybody's so caught up with we have to do streaming, they forget we make our money with television. And so I think there's a great opportunity to promote the fact that the best experience for live sports, or any television for that matter, is through traditional MVPDs.
So you think
television.
There needs to be a Got Milk campaign for television?
Yeah, for the most part, that's a great way to put it, absolutely.
And why do you think they haven't done that? Clearly they know where they're making their money. Yeah. Clearly they know what a cannibalizing force this has been. Yeah, and
you're not going to stop streaming. The point isn't to stop streaming, but it's just to remind people that there's a graduation from, watching on a phone is horrible, right? You do it if you don't have another choice. Watching on an iPad isn't much better. So the point is, tell people the best way to consume your product. Isn't that what all businesses should do? And why they haven't done it, it's beyond me. I don't know.
But Charlie also has Sling, right? And we've seen a huge move and a huge amount of excitement to these platforms. You're saying that the best viewing experience is on television. Where in that analysis do you put the new skinny and the new OTT bundles?
Look, I love using Sling, and OTT is certainly a part of the equation. But if I have my Dish set-top box, if I have my Hopper right there and it's connected to a 65-inch television, and I have my phone that has Sling, or I have my iPad that has Sling, which is the best viewing experience? But if I'm out of the house, or I'm somewhere in the house where I don't have a set-top box, or I don't have a regular TV, yeah, then I'll use Sling. I use it like now on my Samsung goggles, the virtual reality goggles. Yep. They just put out an app that allows me to watch, so I can be laying in bed watching it on my goggles on a 200-inch screen and not bother my wife. So it gives me privacy.
When I read your headline before I read the article, I thought what you were going to say is they didn't make improvements to the game to speed up gameplay or improve the sports. Now basketball, I'm not so much talking about basketball as I'm talking about a sport like baseball, right? Don't you feel like these sports have not been as entrepreneurial as they could be?
Yeah, that's an understatement.
Are there changes you'd like to see made to your sport?
Yeah, we talk about them all the time, but they're on the margins. There's nothing dramatic that I think we need to do. Look, watching a game on television is one experience because you're a fan or you love the game. Going to a game is a completely different experience, and you've always got to realize that we're selling experiences. We're not selling basketball when it comes to an in-game experience. When you walk into an arena for a game, you feel the energy, you feel the excitement. Yeah. That's not replicated on television. I was at the Mets
on Saturday night with my kid.
Yeah, it's just fun, right? Right. Yeah, and when you think about going to a game with your kid, it's like you don't remember the home runs, you don't remember the score, you remember the look on his face. How old is he?
He's Cooper 7.
7. So yeah, my son's 8. So when you walk in, you're looking at him. You don't even really care about the game, right?
It's the experience.
It's the experience.
Altice and Disney ESPN. And look, it seems clear that these sports owners have raised the prices to the point where the distributor had to raise prices and the consumer, it was tough on the consumer. You sit on sort of both sides of this. Thoughts on that?
Again, first of all, if you're promoting the value that you get, right, and the experience being better, it softens it some, right? I think, again, if we go forward 5 years, 10 years, I think if live sports leaves television, the traditional MVPDs, the price for rights are just going to skyrocket, because in an over-the-top world...
But why? Won't Facebook or Google just pay whatever people want for them? Wouldn't Google or Facebook, or Apple, they can pay infinity basically for these rights,
well,
right?
Yeah, well, that's the point,
yeah.
right? In an over-the-top world, when you have unlimited choices, live sports is the best draw where you know you're going to get an audience. It may not be as big an audience in over-the-top as it might be through a traditional MVPD, but if you're Google, who hasn't been able to create any hits on YouTube at all, if you're Facebook, who gets an audience but hasn't been able to create hits, Netflix spending $9 billion, and we're tried and true. We're going to get you an audience no matter what. And unlike football that has 16 weeks, we've got a full season.
But should everybody pay for ESPN? Even I've never watched.
You pay for it one way or the other, right? That's like saying, you know what? If I watch the movie, should I only pay for the ending because I like the ending? Should I only pay for the musical? Should I only pay for my favorite song in the musical? Right?
That happened with music. Happened with albums, right?
Well, yes and no. Right now, you're streaming the whole thing. You went from buying an album to a la carte downloading a song to streaming everything.
You gonna run for president? It seems like it. Look, by the way, you were very clear about the Trump thing. You supported him for a moment. The minute he started saying crazy stuff, you pulled out your support. And now I was just talking to someone who should go unnamed, and I said I was going to ask you that question. They said it seems like it a little bit that he's sniffing.
No, I'm snipping, yes. just because it's so
sniffing
crazy.
Or snipping?
Sniffing or snipping, right? Either or. But just because it's so crazy in D.C. right now, and look, there's 18 months for me to decide, and I'm in no rush, and I'd have real family issues with my wife if I said yes. So, is it something I've considered? Yes. Is it something that I've dreamed of doing? No.
Is it something that you might get more active in from the outside? Be a more public commentator on what you'd like to see happen in government?
Yeah, and I think I've done that, right? And if I did do it, it wouldn't be me saying, look, just vote for me. I'd come in with solutions. I'm working on a healthcare project, working on a ballot initiative to make it easier for alternative candidates to get on state ballots for federal offices. So there's a variety of things that I think will have an impact that I'm working on personally. And if I think I can make them happen and have an impact, then maybe I will run. But I think it's still more important just to be working on the project and try to, have an impact there.
You've got Access TV, you've got Shark Tank, you've got the team, you've obviously got 100 other projects that I don't even know. Is there another big project or a big company? Because, I got the broadcast.com thing wrong, but I thought you were going to start a whole nother startup.
No, so that was...
I know I got that wrong, but is there another big thing coming?
So there's different themes that I'm working on right now. One of them is artificial intelligence, and so working with AI, whether it's street sensors with a company called MotionLoft that counts everything in real time and allows us to aggregate ungodly amounts of data so that we can be very predictive. I've got a company, Genesthesis, that every single organ in our body emits an electrical impulse, and there's devices now, sensors that can capture that. Then we run it through AI, and we can be very predictive of 5 different heart diseases, more so than a radiologist. So companies like that that have an AI, machine learning, deep learning focus, I've really been active in. I mentioned there's a healthcare project that I think there's a way to do healthcare in this country that for the 40 million people that aren't covered right now, don't have employer, don't have Medicaid, don't have Medicare, you can do it without insurance companies and get better outcomes for a lot less money from the government and the individuals.
All right, well, Mark, with that, I'm going to let you go. I have to say, you and I don't know each other that well. You DM'd me one day on Twitter. You called into Cheddar when we were tiny almost a year ago, and you're truly an accessible guy who really does care about helping out entrepreneurs all across the spectrum. So I'm not sure if everybody knows that about you, but I want to let you know that our whole team always appreciated that.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mark.
Appreciate it, Chuck.
Okay,
Congrats.
back to you guys in New York.